everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Latinx KidLit Book Festival. My name is Maritza Moulite, co-author of the YA novel The Summer I Ate the Rich, which is out now, and I wrote with my sister. Don't forget to subscribe to the Latinx KidLit Book Festival's YouTube page for more educational resources. I'm thrilled to be moderating this year's Jeopardy with these three wonderful authors. Please introduce yourselves briefly, and then we'll get started with the game. Racquel, you can go first, and then Alexis, and then Zakiya.
Hi, I'm Racquel Marie. I'm the author of these books back here, most recently If We Survive This, which is a rabies-induced apocalypse horror novel, and I'm very excited to be here. I love watching Jeopardy, so this is a niche dream come true to participate.
Hi, I'm Alexis Castellanos, the author of Guava Grudges, Lemons and Lies, and back there you could just see my graphic novel, Isla to Island. I am terrified to do this because my head goes blank whenever I'm asked a trivia question, so we'll see how this goes.
Hi, I'm Zakiya. I'm the author of If We Were a Movie, which is back there. I did not think to bring it closer and hold it up, but I promise I wrote a book. Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. Marissa had to. That's my book. Yeah, and that's me. I'm very excited to play. I feel like I'm in between Alexis and Racquel, and that I feel excited and also scared. So we'll see how this goes.
Thank you, everyone. This is really exciting for me. So for our game today, I will read the first question, and then you can raise your hand if you have the answer, and then you'll, we'll go on from there. So let the games begin. Oh, I guess I could pick whichever one. Let's go with Zombies 100, please. A zombie's favorite snack according to popular media. Oh, okay. I'm going to go with Racquel for absolutely no reason at all.
Brains?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Correct! Yay! Thank you. And feel free to pick the next question, and then we'll all raise our hands.
I'll do on writing for 300.
The technique of disrupting the order of events in a story by shifting to an earlier time in order to introduce information. I see Racquel.
Is it a flashback?
Is it a flashback? Correct! Yay!
I'll do ROMs and rom-coms for 200, please.
In this book-turned-film, Lara Jean Song Covey writes 5 letters, ones she never planned to send, to boys that she has had crushes on. I see Zakiya.
To all the boys I've loved before.
To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Great. Please pick our next question.
Let's do high key for 100, mainly because I don't know what that means.
That's a great reason. Something that is average or not very impressive. Alexis, I see your hand.
Mid?
Mid. Let's see. Oh, I am not hip enough for this category. Okay, thank you, Alexis. You can pick the next question.
Zombies for 300.
Director of Night of the Living Dead and known as father of the zombie film. Oh, Alexis, your hand, I see it.
Romero. Who is Romero?
Who is Romero? Yes, George A. Romero. Awesome. Okay, so this is a great time to pause our game and get to know our participants and authors. So, Zakiya, what inspired If We Were a Movie?
That's a great question. So I grew up on Long Island, which is where I set the story. And you know, I feel like a lot of Long Island stories don't always have characters that look like me. So I really wanted to show the side of Long Island that was familiar to me. So it's a very diverse cast of characters. The main characters, Rochelle and Amir, are both Black. Amir is Afro-Latina. And I just really wanted to tell a sapphic romance.
And boy, did you. Thank you. And Alexis, what inspired Lemons and Lies?
Necessity. I wrote Guava and Grudges as part of a 2-book deal, and I was like, oh, I'll write a companion book, but it'll have to like follow the same naming convention. So like food and plot device. And the first one I came up with was Lemons and Lies, and it's kind of like a fun play on words, because for Cubans in particular, we don't have 2 different words for lemon and lime. We just use the same word. So I always, even to this day, even though English is my primary language, I will call a lemon a lime. And I don't know if it drives my husband crazy, but he's always like, do you mean lemon? Because sometimes he doesn't know what I mean. So that was what inspired the title. And this is kind of weird because I worked backwards from there. But both of these books are just kind of like my love letter to the YA that I grew up reading, but with Cuban American characters, which is something I never found when I was growing up. So it's just lighthearted Cuban American characters falling in love, doing goofy stuff, and nothing about the sad or terrible or, it's just joyful.
Thank you. And I 100% feel you on having one word for lemon and lime. In Creole, it's citron, and it's all the same. So I get you. And Racquel, what inspired If We Survive This?
Yes, I had kind of a weird brand shift because my first 3 books were all contemporaries, and then this is an apocalyptic horror novel. But I love survivalist media, and especially like zombie apocalypse stories, or just generally like apocalypse dystopia stories. So I wanted to have my chance to do it, but I also wanted to get to write a main character that I felt I would have seen myself in when I was younger and really enjoyed this type of content. So writing a main character who is queer, who is Latina, and who deals with OCD as kind of her primary struggle throughout the book outside of surviving the apocalypse was important to me in showcasing that characters that I could relate to, or that a lot of young people may not often see themselves in as far as the survivors of these types of narratives go. Getting to create that for the audience that has now grown into the space that I was in when I was younger is very cool for me. So I just wanted to have fun getting to create my own little virus and apocalypse.
Your own little virus. Thank you. And actually, so like, since you did have a shift in genre, like, how was that experience writing this story? Was it a different process or similar to what you've done in the past?
It was different, mainly because, and this sounds ridiculous, but I never had to focus on plot as much until I wrote this book, because in my other books, if I wanted to shift scenes around, it was always took place at like a high school or a summer camp. And so things were relatively easy to shift around as far as location and circumstances, versus in this book, I needed to figure out where these characters were at any point in time. They're traveling across California, but also like time and place matters a lot for them because the stakes matter a lot differently. So that was a unique in that I had to focus on a lot of plot elements more than my other books, since my other books are a lot more character driven. And I still wanted this to be character and emotional driven, but I had to make sure like it mattered if suddenly we were in Los Angeles and then we needed to be in like Santa Barbara. I couldn't just shift those scenes around so easily. So that was something that I had to work on that I had not necessarily had to do with my other books.
Oh, that's great. That's real. And that's like a really good place to just procrastinate. Like, we will do side quests of trying to figure out like, oh, would you where like would swimming pools have bleach in 1912? And like, you just gotta figure that out just to distract yourself from working. Okay, so Zakiya and Alexis, I'm also curious to know about your writing processes for your books. Can we start with Zakiya about what that experience was like for you?
Sure. Yeah. So my experience was a little different because I did this book with what's called a packager. So basically, like they had the idea, or the like bare bones of the idea, and then I was like hired to write it. So I kind of knew, like this was going to be a Rivals to Lovers. The characters were going to work at a movie theater, and then I kind of made it my own with like setting it on Long Island and making it sapphic and all of those kinds of things. So that was very different from like my typical processes, which is usually like I kind of just already have an idea and know what's gonna happen. Versus this, it was kind of like I had a foundation given to me, and then I like built upon that. But it was really fun and interesting, and I got to work really closely with the team on it, which was great.
Yeah, that sounds really fun and exciting to have a foundation to begin with and then move forward and make your whole, your own world. And Alexis, please tell us about your process.
So this is not a sequel, but it's not a sequel. It's companion to Guava and Grudges, and I've never done that before. So it was kind of like my favorite part of a series is when you're in another book that's unrelated to a character from another series, but you see that character and you're like, oh, how are they doing? What's going on? And you get like a funny little moment with the other characters. So this was fun in that I had this sandbox I had built with Guava and Grudges, and I could, go to another part and play with it, but still pull in. Like one of my favorite scenes is a scene with Ana Maria and Miguel getting caught by Valeria, Miguel's cousin. And it was just so fun having those little moments that were a treat for people who had read Guava and Grudges. So yeah, it was fun, like being able to play in a world that like I already know everything. Like I know what the town looks like. I know all the people that live there. I knew everything. So it was just playing with the story of these characters in a place that was already very familiar to me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Alexis. And I forgot that I was supposed to be talking about my book as well. So The Summer I Ate the Rich is about 17-year-old Leon Petitfou, who just happens to be a Haitian American zombie, who decides to use her powers to get revenge on the very wealthy elites that she feels are responsible for her family's pain. And it was inspired by like our own family health issues that were just so frustrating and sad to go through, and wanting to put that in somewhere. And then also the inspiration of being able to tell a story about a zombie from the original place that zombie lore comes from, which is the Haitian people, the enslaved people's fear of being in eternal solitude even after death. And then over time, the idea of the zombie evolved, and we have like fun movies like the Romero films, and it turned into the moaning, groaning, brain-eating zombie that we know today. So Racquel is a combination of both of those types of zombies, and was really fun to write with my sister. So this is a great time to move back to our game. I will pick the next question because I don't remember who was who had the next question. Okay, so let's start with High Key 300. Originating from the Eminem song of the, well done, people, from the Eminem song of the same name, this is an overly devoted fan who idolizes the artist to the point of obsession. I think I saw Zakiya first.
This is a stan.
A stan.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just saw Eminem and I was like, I know what this is. Okay. I will do roms and rom-coms for 300, please.
An amusing or charming first encounter between two characters that leads to the development of a romantic relationship between them. Racquel.
What is a meet cute?
A meet cute. Yay!
I'll do zombies for 500, please.
All right. The Haitian Creole word for zombie. I will raise my hand for this one. It's zombie. Yay! Okay. Let's go with on writing for 200. The verbal interaction between two or more characters in a dramatic or narrative work. Alexis.
Dialogue? What is dialogue?
What is dialogue? Yay!
Let's go high key 500.
Something or someone that is done, exhausted, or doomed. I have no idea. Racquel.
What is cooked?
Oh my gosh. What is cooked? Well done. No clue.
I will do on writing for 500, please.
Okay. The emotional psychological exchange that occurs in the protagonist over the course of the story. Zakiya.
I mean, this is a guess. Growth?
I like it. Growth.
Like, I don't know. Oh, an arc.
We'll take it. The character is growing over the course of an arc. Oh, right.
I will do roms and rom-coms for 500, please.
Name the trope. Two people with opposite personalities meet, one a positive and upbeat person and the other a pessimistic person, and learn to love each other. Alexis.
Grumpy Sunshine? What is Grumpy Sunshine?
What is Grumpy Sunshine? Yay! Great job.
Let's go high key 400.
In agreement with something or used for okay or affirmative. Alexis.
What is period?
Period.
Oh, bet.
Bet.
Yeah.
We do that deep down in our hearts. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's use this time to ask a few more questions. So, like you mentioned earlier, Zakiya, you are a proud New Yorker repping Queens, Long Island, and Brooklyn. And if We Were a Movie takes place in the suburbs of Long Island, these places all have different personalities. How did you decide on the location of your story and bring that world to life?
Yeah, I mean, Long Island is where I grew up, so it's where I spent most of my time, I guess, at this point. But I like relate Long Island to my high school years, and that's when this book, in terms of like the characters and their age, where it takes place. But I also just feel like the suburbs is such like, you have like the mall and the movies, and like we're walking to each other's house, so it just felt very like teen coded. So yeah, so that's kind of just how I chose it.
Thank you for sharing. And Racquel, so how do you think you would fare if you had to stay alive during what is essentially a zombie apocalypse?
I think my mileage would vary heavily on what type of like creature I'm dealing with, because if it like zombies and kind of like zombie adjacent creatures, like they're represented very differently across different worlds. And so if it's one of the like really fast ones with a really fast incubation period, I think I'm done. Like I think I've done my best. I'm grateful for everyone's time and energy and consideration. I'm not gonna make it. But my creatures, I call them rabbids, which sounds like rabbits, but it's people with rabies. They're basically just like a sick person. It's just someone with rabies. So they're more violent, but whatever strength you had as a person is the strength you have once you get it. So you kind of have to fight off like the general demographic population then, but they're like a little sick and like probably kind of hungry. So I think I could fare in my world okay. I don't think I would do well if they're really strong and fast. I think I'm gonna have to check out for that one. But if I could just manage to hide or run away, I think I could do okay.
I like that confidence. I really I feel bad. I would apologize to my ancestors, but if I was in a zombie apocalypse of any kind, I'm just giving up. I'm just gonna lay down and that'll be that. And if I lose my glasses, I'll be gone earlier. Like it's just really bad. Okay, so Alexis, your first YA rom-com you mentioned, Guava and Grudges, and now Lemon and Lies include delicious recipes that readers can try. Are you a baker yourself? And also, how was it returning to Port Murphy again and exploring different characters this time?
I am a baker. I love cooking. It's like the one hobby I haven't commodified. Like it's just a way to be creative that is just for myself and I can enjoy it. I still put a lot of stress on myself. Like, don't get me wrong. I make it to be like a crazy important, like the world's going to end if I put too much salt in this. But I love it. It's such a fun way to be creative and to connect with my culture and discover other cultures. I think food history is so interesting. So yeah, obviously I wrote a rom-com then that centers heavily on food. And the reason why I put a recipe at the end of my rom-coms is because I put a recipe at the end of Isla to Island for my family's arroz con pollo a la chorrera. And that has been such a connection point with readers, where I have people reach out to me specifically about that recipe, about making the recipe with their kids. And it was just like such a fun connection with readers. I was like, I got to keep this going. I got to keep doing this. It was a fun part of that book. But returning to Port Murphy was great. It was like, I grew up in Miami. I'm like a big city girl. So the idea of a small town is like always fun to me. But my reality of going to small towns, because I moved from Miami to a small town, that reality was not fun. So it was really nice creating this place for myself. It was a small town that was welcoming to these Cuban American families that ended up there. And with all the fun small town dynamics that you would get in something like Gilmore Girls. So yeah, I love it. I love Port Murphy. It's great. I love being there. If the world let me, I would stay, but we have to move on.
That's real. And as a city girl from Miami, I identify with all that you said. Thank you. So let's go back to our game, answer a few more questions. Let's do rom-coms 100. Ending a relationship by completely disappearing with no further communication. Absolutely vile. Zakiya.
Ghosting. What is ghosting?
What is ghosting? Ghosted. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, let's just finish the category. We do roms and rom-coms for 400.
That is such a fun thing they say on Jeopardy. In order to be a true romance, stories must have this. Racquel.
Either a happily ever after or a happily for now. What is happily ever after or happily for now?
What is happily ever after or happily for now? Yay! Awesome.
I will do zombies for 200, please.
Island in the Caribbean where the myth of the zombie originated from. Racquel.
Haiti.
Yay!
What is Haiti?
Holla.
And let's finish out the category, please.
True or false? Zombies are real and exist in nature. Alexis.
What is yes? Parasitic wasps.
Yes. What is true? Yes. True.
Oh, and fungus.
Yeah. To fungi to other parasites, there actually are organisms that have evolved to control the minds and bodies of other creatures. Spooky.
On writing 400.
A comparison between two distinctly different things indicated by the word like or as. I saw Zakiya's hand first.
What is a simile?
What is a simile? We love our
Yay.
figurative language.
I was like, if I get this wrong, my English teachers will kill me. Let's just finish the category with on writing.
Meaningful ideas that recur in or run through the narrative. I think I saw Alexis's hand first.
What are themes?
What are themes? Yes, themes for whatever that amount was. Yay.
All
and
right.
our final question. An experience in a person's life that comes to shape or define who they are. Racquel.
A canon event. What is a canon event?
A canon event. Yes.
I thought we were still on writing, and I was like, is there a writing term for this? I didn't realize we were in high key.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. I just have one more question to ask you all. So Zakiya, if We Were a Movie includes an amazing enemies to lovers storyline with Racquel and Amira, what are some of your favorite romance tropes?
Ooh, I really always flip flop with this because it really depends on who is writing it. But I typically like fake dating or like marriage of convenience or something like that. Friends to lovers is also pretty fun for me as well. I think those are like my big two.
Oh, that's good. I love a marriage of convenience. And then there's just one bed. It's fun. Okay. Alexis, Lemons and Limes also has that fake dating storyline with Valeria and Gage. Very fun. What are some of your favorite romance tropes?
Okay, I'm glad it's just us here because whenever I answer this in front of an audience, everyone screams at me. But I really like miscommunication tropes used for comedy. Like a miscommunication trope used well is really good. I think it leads to some really great comedy. When it's used poorly, it's bad, but you can say that about any trope. I'm not saying, yeah, my favorite trope is when it's done terribly. No. Anyway, I've been yelled at too many times for that by audiences. I also love anything that gives me slow burn yearning, like hand grazes, like the way that their eyes connect across a room, just like all those little those tidbits. I don't know if that's a trope, but just like everything that isn't actually touching, that's like building up the romance and building up that tension, I eat it up.
Yes. Oh my God. So, like in Pride and Prejudice 2005, of course, the obvious scene where Darcy holds Homegirl's hand and is like, ugh. But then also when Mr. Bingley like strokes Jane's ribbon on the back of her dress, like as they're walking through the party. Yeah, that yearning. All right. And Racquel, how did you get to write this horror novel when you feared the genre for so long? I also very much identify with that. I am a baby.
So yeah, I always stayed away from anything horror adjacent when I was growing up, which shockingly, I've realized that most of the movies I've watched this year have been horror movies. So I feel proud of myself for that development. But I realized as a teenager, I could read scary books. I couldn't watch scary movies, scary shows, scary video games, whatever, but I could read them and I could deal with it. Like I always tell people, the first scary book I ever read, I slept on my parents' floor for 2 days and I was 17. So I wasn't doing great, but I built up a tolerance to it. And so that was part of why it was so cool to write this book, because it was a genre I always was intrigued by and wanted to get involved in, but was always kind of too afraid to deal with. So it took years of me building up the tolerance, but also getting to write a main character who struggles with the same things that caused my fears, which was a lot of OCD, intrusive thoughts related stuff. Getting to create a main character that is like me and would, for the same reasons as me, be afraid to read a book like this, put her in that scenario is a little evil and twisted as far as her life goes, but it was very cathartic for me. So I think overall it was just a very fun experience to get to break into a genre that I would have been afraid of before, and also realize that it is a pretty safe space for a lot of people who do struggle with anxiety and OCD and the like.
Or how to make you feel better. I read the first 3 volumes of the Walking Dead comics when I was a sophomore in college. And that night, I lived in like a third floor apartment building with the front door locked. And that night I went to my bedroom door and locked it. I was like, they're not getting in. And I remember doing it and being like, there's no zombies coming for you. But I was like, I still have to lock the door. Like nothing can come in after reading that comic.
Cover your bases. Awesome. Thank you everyone for sharing. Ding, ding, ding. Our scores have come in. So in third place, we have 1,300 points from Zakiya. Yay. In second place, we have 1,900 points from Alexis. And our winner of Jeopardy today with 2,000 points is Racquel. Yay!
Truly a dream come true. I am going to go to my grandma's house tonight and watch Jeopardy, so this will be a bragging point for me.
Of course, you've earned it. Thank you all. So it looks like we have run out of time and reached the end of our game. Thank you to our authors and viewers for attending the Latinx KidLit Book Festival. And before we go, please let us know where we can find you. Alexis, Zakiya, then Racquel.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and on my website, alexiscastellanos.com. And you can find Lemons and Lies on shelves September 16th.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter sometimes, at Zakiya N Jamal. And my website is also zakiyajamal.com.
Thank you.
You can find me on Instagram at blonde_with_a_book and TikTok at Racquel _Marie_ I think is Racquel Marie on there. And then also vaguely sometimes on Twitter. And my website is racquelmariebooks.com. And also thank you to Maritza for coming up with questions to talk with us and being an excellent Jeopardy host.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Mia for making these amazing questions and having me just be able to show up and read. Hopefully okay. You can find me at anywhere at Maritza Moulite, and our website, maikaandmaritza.com. Thank you so much for this really fun time. We love Jeopardy, as you can see. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.